turn on your mics, please?
Because it has to be looked at.
I'd like to defer the ones we haven't looked at.
Okay. When we get there. It's 6:30, 6:31. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Thank you all for coming. If I could have your attention. We're going to go start with customer resident comments. And I'll take it in the order here. The first one to speak is Tina Flores.
Be green?
Yes, it should be flashing green.
Okay. My comment tonight is actually on behalf of Cynthia Kimball, who could not be here tonight. As a board member, each of you has a fiduciary responsibility, either ethically or morally, to carefully manage MUD money. While everyone might agree with this statement, it is crucial that we all act responsibly. Being a good steward of the MUD's money means reconciling bills, understanding charges, and asking vendors questions before voting to pay any bill. In some cases, it might be necessary to amend vendor agreements to protect the MUD from misuse or fraud. I want to emphasize that our primary duty is to act in the best interest of the MUD, which serves almost 2,000 households. This means prioritizing essential services, like ensuring our water is safe for flushing toilets and cooking dinner. These functions are vital to our community's well-being and must come first. Reconciliation of invoices is critical so that we have sufficient funds for essential water functions. Without reserves for repair and replacement, spending on extras like playscapes and landscaping lights is not prudent. I support funding these extras only if we have adequately reserved funds for necessary repairs and replacements, particularly for our lift stations for water and sewer treatment. Our meetings must focus on all things related to water rather than individual needs like chicken coops. While I support chicken coops, our priority should be the needs of the entire MUD benefiting all 2,000 households. I also want to express my appreciation for Linda Fogg, who tirelessly works on repairing the MUD's contracts. Her dedication is evident, and Kelly's support in these efforts is commendable. Linda, you have my vote of confidence. Please continue to hold vendors accountable. In closing, I urge everyone on the board to prioritize the collective interests of the MUD over individual desires. Let us model the cohesive, honest, and well-managed approach that President Fogg exemplifies. In focusing on the MUD's priorities is not feasible for some, their efforts might be better suited to other community activities. Lastly, I have volunteered to assist the management committee led by Beth and Hanoi, yet my offers have been ignored despite the committee's current non-compliance with Texas code. As an expert in communications and web presence, I believe turning away help from the community is not in the best interest of the MUD. Being a board member comes with great responsibility to yourself, to your community, and to the safety of our water. Let us all rise to meet this responsibility earnestly and effectively.
Thank you, Tina. Sarah Teal.
I think there may have been another person before she was.
There's somebody, but she didn't check to speak.
I'd asked if I should, and they didn't tell me.
No, she was here first. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. And what's your name?
Kathy Ingram.
Okay, but you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought I wasn't supposed
No.
to check that.
Please go ahead. I apologize.
Sorry, it's my fault. So I'm here because my water meter malfunctioned on April 29th. It started then, and it started sometime in the evening, and on my app it says I used 287 that day. It ran all day on the April 30th, and it said I used 216.3 that day, and then the app finally notified me on May 1st, and sometime during the day, around noon, a little after noon according to the app, it stopped, but it used 360.9 that day. I mean, it was running. There was no water coming out. There was no leak. A total of 1,364.3 gallons. So I called Infomark. They sent someone out. They said there was no leak. He couldn't find a leak. I couldn't find a leak. I had nothing running, although the meter kept running. And when I went out and looked at it, it would start, it would stop, it said LED, and I asked the guy, I said, it said LED. He said he didn't know, and the only thing he knew how to do was read the meter. He didn't know how to check the meter. So then I asked, when I called Infomart, they told me that I couldn't turn turn the thing off at the meter. If I did, I got a fine. So I had no alternative but to just let it run till they came out and checked it. So anyway, and when I came in here to talk to the people in the office, they said that they've had malfunctions in the Dallas location. I'm not aware. They told me when I got here tonight that the Dallas location has different meters. I'm a school teacher. This isn't that much money for the water company. It's like $5 overage for that water use that I never used. And I'm just asking for my money back that I didn't use the water.
Can I ask you, do you have an electronic meter?
I do have a digital one.
And you do have an endpoint on it, so you're attached to the app? Were you part of the test group?
Yes.
You were part of the test
Yes. I actually came in here because I had a water leak. They said, we can put that in there for you, and they did, which I've had no issues since then until this mishap. But in this case, I was not using any water.
Right.
Because when he came over to check, he said I had no leaks. It had stopped running by that time. He came over on May 2nd. He didn't come May 1st. He came May 2nd.
Okay. Let us please take a look at your account, see what happened, when your meter was installed, all the details, and then we will put it, is it something, we'll have to put it on next month's agenda in order to...
I won't be in town next month. I'll be out of
we
town.
can notify you, though.
Oh, you can just tell me?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
We'll do that. How's that?
Oh, and my neighbor Hillary came over to try to figure out how to help me turn off the meter. I wanted to put that in too. She couldn't figure
His
it out.
wife?
Yes.
Well, at least you tried, right? At least you tried. Okay, we'll look into it.
All
I
right,
promise.
thank
We
you
will
very
look
much.
into
I
it.
appreciate
Do you know her address?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Put that in the, if you would, in the minutes that we're going to look at her address and her meter. Now, Sarah Till. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
We
very
will
much.
notify you.
I have been watching what is happening in this district for many years now. There seems to be perennial problems with contract creation, management, and enforcement, which ends up causing problems like the $1 million failure of the hatch lift station, the purchase and installment of the Dudley Playground, and the money spent on double contracting that has become necessary to run the district when the first contractor doesn't perform. I suspect these problems are not actually unique to the district, but happen in most MUDs because it is an inherently flawed system that hires one contractor to oversee another contractor, who then must turn around and work with that contractor in other scenarios. For example, your lawyer, who also has several other MUDs, must give advice about contract enforcement for the accountant or the operator, and then walk out of this boardroom and work with both of those contractors in another boardroom. He would seemingly have an interest in being friendly with those contractors instead of litigating their breaches of contract. The system creates inherent conflicts of interest. How do you undo this inherent conflict? I believe there are several avenues. First, by paying very close attention to how these contractors are performing outside of what is MUD normal. The phrase that this is what MUDs do has been bandied around this room with abandon and has come to represent, in my mind as an observer, a blanket excuse for underperformance. Normal has a bar so low that it would not measure up in other scenarios. It has been lowered artificially, and contract management and oversight has been softened to a point that it is non-existent by this incestuous web of business relationships that are nurtured at places like the AWBD conference. Secondly, I also believe these conflicts can be mitigated by hiring non-MUD oversight when problems are discovered. You can't trust someone who is in a relationship with an underperforming contractor to call them to answer appropriately if they have other business relationships with them that curtail true oversight. Lastly, if I was a person sitting on the board, I would never hire out of what I call the MUD pit, or the group of highly interconnected contractors that cover for each other so that they can suck the most money possible out of the districts like this with the lowest performance. These contractors know that board members usually don't want to put the time or attention into learning how the system works and are willing to simply rubber stamp whatever work they do or money they want to spend without looking too closely. Who could blame them when you have gotten used to doing the shoddiest work possible with no oversight, never having to adhere to your contract or even professional standards, and still get paid every month? Your job seems pretty sweet. Most MUD directors are more than happy to simply turn up, not look at contracts, not look at billing, not educate themselves on proper practice, put a hand in the air to pay everyone whatever they want no matter what work they have performed, and then get out of the room as quickly as they can and collect their own payment. Making changes for the best governance of this most local government is hard. There is no doubt about it. It takes time, attention to detail, a strong stomach for not always making everyone happy. Thank you.
Thank you. Sylvia Lopez.
Good afternoon. The purpose of my statement today is to provide input regarding May's meeting that lasted 3.5 hours. I would like to begin by thanking Linda Fab for her professionalism, her commitment, and displaying transparency and accountability, an attribute that I believe is extremely important to me and all the residents within the MUD district. Now I would like to share what is extremely concerning and upsetting to me and my neighbors. 1, the lack of preparedness from 3 out of the 5 board members not taking the time to read and review the prepared package prior to the scheduled hearing. This demonstrated to me disrespect to the president and the community. I understand that the board members are volunteering their time, but each member signed up to commit and to meet the obligations required to serve. This is not what I saw last month at all. 2, Beth Jones, I found your representation on the board unprofessional. Your lack of respect and anger toward the president that clearly spent many hours auditing invoices that were questionable to her made me question your ethics. The fact that you were not concerned about the accountability and your preference, was for the board to approve payments without any audit review is upsetting and makes me question your role on the board. My recommendation to you is to resign if accountability and due diligence are not key factors as a board member. 2, Hanoi Avila. I found your representation on the board uncommitted and disrespectful. The fact that you also did not support the president holding vendors accountable by requesting additional information to reconcile made me question your ethics as well. If you don't have the time nor the commitment to serve on the board, then my recommendation is that you also resign from the board and allow someone else that is willing to serve in an ethical manner. As a property owner and taxpayer, I'm committed in meeting my obligations and getting involved, volunteering my time on an as-needed basis in a respectful and ethical manner. I hope that my statement today will allow some board members to discern if they are on the board for the right reasons or for personal gain. If the latter, please consider resigning. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Lund.
I live over on Culver Ridge Drive. Just had a few questions. Where do we get our water from? Who do we buy it from? How do we buy
Cedar
it?
Park.
Pardon?
We buy it from Cedar
From Cedar
Park.
Park. How do we price it?
I believe it's a pass, is it a pass-through
It's a
cost?
pass-through, and we use the same tiered rate structure that they do.
That they do? Okay. Second question is, whose rules and regulations do we go by?
The district has their own, but they are modeled after the city of Cedar Park. But the district has a duty to uphold certain ones that the city of Cedar Park does, but the district itself drafted theirs, I think, years ago, I think 2003.
Yeah, a while ago.
And then
Are you-
there's been several amendments made.
Are you
to
talking
those
rules for
regulations.
water?
No.
Rules for what?
Well, a lot of our neighbors have been written up by MUD and also by Lakeline Oaks Home Association. And then we're told, oh, y'all don't have restrictions to do that. Like trash cans. Some people were written up and put on their bill for a trash can. Then we hear, oh, no, we can't do that. Same thing on vehicles.
Deed restrictions.
Deed
Sounds like what
restrictions.
you're-
Yeah.
Whose do we go by? Y'all's or the
Well,
homeowners association?
let me just say this. We do have a policy for deed enforcement on the website. I can say with certainty for Lakeline Oaks, this board and the previous 2 or 3 boards, we have never enforced in Lakeline Oaks. They have an HOA.
Right.
And the HOA has done the enforcement for them. And my understanding is they had requested that we don't interfere in that. And to the best of my knowledge, for at least the last 4 years minimum, Lakeline Oaks has not been enforced by the MUD. They've only been enforced by their own contractor.
Okay, I'll look into that.
And we don't put their fines on your water bill as well. We don't do that. We do not do that.
That isn't what we've seen, but, okay.
Mackenzie, Lakeline Oaks would not have the ability to add an amount to a water bill, would they?
No.
I didn't think so.
It's
Do you
standard
have
across
one
the
that
board.
has do you have that has
A
it
lot
on
of
your
people
bill?
have the
I'll
stage
find out who
3
it was.
restriction now, but they don't realize that that is enforced across the entire district.
Yeah, that's for water. I'm talking deed enforcement. And if
Okay.
it was deed enforcement on the water bill, it used to say deed enforcement fine, and then it would give an amount.
And where did you say I'd look up the restrictions y'all have?
It's on the MUD's website, WTCMUD1.org.
Okay.
You'll find
It
it
may
there.
have changed. I'll
Well, Linda, I have, when I first moved to Lakeline Oaks, there was a $100 fee on my bill. And I had to call to find out what it was.
What year was that?
I can't remember.
Long-
Yeah, it was at the very beginning.
So 30 years ago?
Probably maybe 2003, 2005.
Okay, I can only speak to the last 4
Do we
years.
have somebody else next on the list? or-
Yes.
Okay, can we go on to the next
No,
person?
actually, we will entertain that at another time. I'm just answering your question. That didn't come from us. And no, there is nobody left on the list to speak, unless if you guys accidentally didn't check to speak, Karen and Jill? No speaking? No? Okay. You don't have to. It's not required. All right, thank you. I'm going to close the public comments, and I'm going to make a quick statement before we begin. Tonight, I'm going to try something different to move forward the district's business. In this experiment, we will see how far we can get in 2 hours. I'm going to ask our consultants to provide the board with an executive summary of their respective reports. Please do not go over every page because we are obligated to come to these meetings prepared, which includes reviewing the board packet where the information is captured. The contents of the board packet is subsequently published on the district's webpage for public consumption. So, the very first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes? Yes? I will take a motion.
I move to approve the minutes presented from the months for April 3rd, April 17th, and May 15th.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? The next item on the agenda is the accountant's report.
If you don't mind, could I interject?
Certainly.
I would like to make a motion to, in support of your statement for limiting our meeting to 2 hours, I'd like to move up item 8F, review and approve the resolution to limit board meetings to no more than 2 hours.
I will second that.
Okay. I am on a different PC that has not synced my statement that I prepared, which is probably actually a good thing, so I'm going to have to speak off the cuff. Last month's meeting was 5 hours long, and I think I can speak for myself and probably everyone in this room who had to go to work the next morning that I was useless the next day. I was a zombie. We spent a lot of time quibbling over small line items or items that weren't on the agenda. These marathon meetings are not accessible to the public. The public can't stay up often till 10 or 11 o'clock at night watching hours and hours of board meeting. That's not a pro-resident way to run the district. Sometimes we've asked our contractors to leave at the meeting after their portion in an effort to save on their hourly fees, and we saw the frustration that our accountant expressed because she was asked to leave but then wasn't able to track expenditures that we approved later. It was clearly very frustrating for her, and so I'm offering this resolution for us to limit our board meetings to 2 hours. It's a flexible resolution. 3 votes can extend the board meeting, 3 votes can move an agenda item up on the list or defer it to the next meeting. We will get the business of this district done in 2 hours. That is totally possible if everyone is prepared and we move efficiently and economically and courteously through our agenda. So I would like to move passage, guys, because the next time I'm in here at 11:30, there better be a live band and an open bar.
Hanoi?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the last meeting was just way overboard. We spent well over $2,000 on debating items that weren't really even necessary. So I agree. Let's save money to the taxpayer in this district by keeping the meeting to 2 hours. I think we can do it.
We can do it.
Beth?
I've said this many years, that the answer is yes, it should be done in 2 hours. And the things that need to be done to make sure that people get paid for doing their job, keep our water on, all those things can be done in less than 2 hours.
David?
I believe that it's possible to do it in 2 hours if people don't interrupt other board members when they speak, and they go out of order.
Point of order, please.
What is it?
What's your order?
Attacking other board members. Can we?
Attacking other board members. Okay.
Yeah.
Just stating the fact that people will interrupt other board members. So, I think we can definitely get that done without the interruptions when we speak in our order, in our place of order. I think it's going to limit the accountability factor of our vendors when there are questions about bills that arise and we're trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. When, I think the last meeting, we had a back and forth with our accountant, and I think that it drug on the meeting for a very long time. So those are just some concerns of mine by limiting the meeting to 2 hours. But as Kelly said, that with 3 votes, we can always extend that. So those are just my point of view and my concerns.
Thank you, David. My only comment is that I am certainly willing to give it a try. I'm trying to this evening to see how much we can get done in 2 hours. Our agendas are long. There's a lot of business in this district to conduct. And provided that we can conduct the business of this district in 2 hours, that would be my first choice as well. If not, we can always do additional meetings. We can extend meetings. There are other avenues. So that's my 2 cents on that. I will call the vote. All in favor? All right. Thank you, Kelly. Now on to the accountant's report. Kara, are you there? Is anybody from Artesian there? Who is it?
Kara and Tia.
Yes, I'm here. Maureen, can you hear me?
Yes, Kara, we can hear you. Before you begin, I want you to know that we did not receive the financial report until after 4:30 today, so I personally have not had an opportunity to review it. I am going to ask for an executive summary from you. Please don't read all the pages, so we can move this business along.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. If you'll turn past the cover page, you'll see our summary of funds that you are very accustomed to seeing. Page 3, your deposit refunds are redacted. Page 4 is the cash flow for Cadence checking. We also redacted one name there. You can see your other bank statement, or your other cash flow, on pages 4 through 7. 8 and 9 are your actual versus budget. I'm open to any questions, but I'm trying to respect your time constraint.
Thank you. Kelly, do you have any questions?
No.
Hanoi?
No.
Beth?
I do not.
David?
question I have is, why did it take so long to get the report into the folder?
Thank you for your question. With so many meetings being moved due to the AWBD conference, I'm very sorry to tell you that we were just absolutely overloaded this week, as well as the fact that we've had so many online issues. When one person saves work, it may be at 2 hours before another person can see it. I don't know why we're having these technical issues, but they have been crippling for us this week.
And are you still having trouble with the Google Drive?
No, sir.
Okay.
I have it open now in case you have a question for me.
No, that'll be it, thank you.
Like I said, Kara, I have not had an opportunity to look at your financial report, so I cannot compare it to the checks that you've written. So I will be abstaining from a vote on paying these bills. There were mistakes in the report. They are marked. If you can get to the Google Drive, you'll see the questions. There are no answers to those questions. I looked through the checks really quickly when I first sat down this evening, and I see overpayments. I see TF Harper's over their not to exceed because there's an extra $6,800 paid to them. There's just mistakes like that. So I will take a motion for any board member who would like to approve these payments regardless of the errors identified within them.
Can I ask about that TF Harper's? What was the?
I haven't looked at it yet. The only thing I can think of is that during the board meeting, we had approved a not to exceed amount of, it was the quote of another vendor, and at that time, we were gonna reach back out to TF Harper at the Parks Committee level to confirm they would bring their cubic yardage up to match to be an apples to apples comparison. So their initial quotes received were lowered. Their then quotes received thereafter were still under the not to exceed amount that the Parks Committee was allowed to approve.
And they did, and the bills, the TF Harper invoices that we actually got in the packet, they were under the not to exceed. But today in the checks, it is over the amount. They've added, I wrote a note, and you might want to look at it, Kara, but on page 52 of the invoices that were delivered to us to review, there is a stamp on the top that says a partial payment was made on 5/2, check number 1164. It looks like you're paying that again. Again, that is a brief 5-minute look. If I don't have the information before a meeting, I cannot check it. And Mackenzie, on the TF Harper one, in that motion that did put a not to exceed amount of like 53,000 in there, it also had a caveat and a condition, and that was that we would have a written guarantee from TF Harper. Where is that guarantee?
It went to the Parks Committee after the meeting, that it would meet the inspection.
So there is a written guarantee? Mm-hmm. Okay, because I believe on the 29th we're due for our next quarterly inspection.
It's already been done.
Okay. All right, I will take a motion though, if anybody else wants to do
Your
it.
Q1 inspection was
I do have a
conducted
question.
after.
Oh, please, go ahead.
Kelly or Hanoi, seeing how they're both in front of you, because usually we pay the checks and then we figure out what people owe us, or we reimburse them, or they pay us money back, whichever. My question to you is, who is in that pile? Because we need to make sure that we pay fire, we need to make sure that we pay water. Those major bills need to be paid. Can you please list off who is not, who you're asking to hold off from?
Right, well, that's what's Kelly looking over right now. I think we have a good group that we can,
Okay, so why is the Coates Rose check not signed?
I'll sign it. I have no,
Were there
it was not
issues?
handed to me.
No, there were no issues on that check.
Okay.
Must have just stuck to the other one. If you look on the accounting agenda item in the packet, there is a list of checks to be paid. There's a list of checks that were not in the packet. So all those checks not in the packet have not been verified. There was a mistake on CubeSmart's check. It's overpaid by $301. Infomark's invoice, maintenance and repair invoices were not in the board packet, and there are checks for them. Waste Management, Oracle, those are some of the ones, and Artesian's invoice was not in the packet.
So my feeling on this is these are people that work for us, these are people that are still gonna be working for us, and that I feel that we should not hold checks back. We've had this conversation before. People should be paid every month, and if they owe us money, they can pay us back, or vice versa. If this is a one-time check for somebody, then yes, we need to look at that and figure that out. If this is something that we can work out, everybody deserves a check to pay their bills.
I will take a motion from you, Beth.
I take a motion that we pay the people that need to be paid monthly on their larger checks to make sure that they can pay their employees, that they can pay our water, they can pay.
That's not, I need a motion that I can actually.
So the motion is that we approve these checks for the people that work for us in this district, and that if they owe us money back, that will happen next month. Can I get a second on that?
Would anybody like to give Beth a second? Nope, motion fails. Carrie, it's going to take a hot minute to figure out what the total amount we need to approve for tonight, the ones that were covered in the packet, that were reviewed, that have their answers, the questions answered. There were really nothing astronomical in this month's bills and invoices, actually. There was a question about something that's being paid late or something to that effect, but it was nothing really major at all. But everything that was stuck into that board packet after the 5th of the month, we have a resolution that says all of our invoices must be delivered by the 5th of the month or we don't pay them. So sticking stuff in here at the final minute today, I have not had a chance to look at them. I'm sorry, I just didn't. So my motion is to defer the payment of these checks until all of them can be reviewed. Can I get a second on that, please? Thank you, David. I'll take discussion. Kelly?
Okay, this is such a mess. I can't figure out why some of these have been held back. I know some of these you said are refunds on accounts, but like, the CubeSmart is still a thorn in our side. I do not understand why Hughes Network has been held back.
None of those are held back. None of those checks are being held.
Okay.
Can you explain why you're refusing to?
Would you please
Sign
take a
checks.
look at the accounting folder in the board packet? We all should have looked at it already, but let's take a look together. And I will show you, and I summarized it for you people this time so it would be really easy to understand. Let me get back to it, hold on. You'll see a recap on the front page, invoice recap, take a look there. I prepared this, put it in the bills and invoice folder yesterday. The reoccurring invoices that did come in, that were in the board packet, are on top. The additional expenses for June are listed. And then the not paid in June, these are invoices that we did not receive in the packet, is in with the blue writing. So
On the ones that are recurring that you checked.
Yes.
And they're indeed correct, why haven't you signed those checks if you're?
I didn't have them. I don't have checks to sign. You guys are signing checks. I'm running the meeting.
Well, you gave me the package without any signature, so I'm asking you because you're in committee.
Yeah, I have only briefly looked through them when I walked in this room because I was told last month's refunds have showed up in this batch. We have never been presented with last month's refunds. They were not in last month's bills and invoices. They are not in this month's bills and invoices. I've not reviewed them. So I quickly, as fast as I could, looked through and I found Artesian has an invoice in there that was not in the packet. Infomark's maintenance and repair invoices for May and June are now in the packet. Infomark's base fee is not in the packet. Oracle, there is an Oracle invoice in there. I don't know if it's the tennis courts. I didn't look. I don't know, did Vanguard make it in there? I can't answer that, but I think Waste Management made it in there. Again, when you shove invoices into the board packet on the day of the meeting, within an hour or two of the meeting, nobody has a chance to look at it. Not one member of this board and you want all of us to look at these invoices. I summarized and recapped it for you. That's the best I can do. And so now, my motion, which, hold on, is to pay what we have confirmed to the amounts that we have confirmed, and then the rest gets deferred.
What is the issue with the TF Harper again? Did you tell me?
If you can tell me what the check amount is, I can verify if you're double paying or not.
58,184.50.
Can I look at it to see what the invoice is?
There is a check in the board packet on page 52 in the invoices.
It's not a check in that
It's,
one.
excuse me, it's an invoice that has a stamp on it from Artesian that says on May 2nd, they paid half of that invoice in the amount of $6,582.78. It's already been paid. It was obviously a down payment, perhaps.
Yeah, I think on the invoice
It says
that's a
paid half, right?
50%.
So you're paying the other half now.
Right,
Yeah,
but
just-
they've got the whole amount in there. That's why it's
That's-
over.
It's not over though. You're paying half of it. There's another 6,582 listed on this invoice. So you're paying the other half of
How many
what's in
times do you
there.
see 6,582 on that invoice?
One time on this.
Can I look?
That's the bottom.
Did y'all do this in bills and invoices?
Yes, they're marked. You can go into the folder and look at the marking.
And if
I
you
did
look
look
at what's
at it
in the
yesterday.
folder, it very specifically says 50% deposit due. It's not asking for the full amount.
Right, and it was only on that one invoice that they paid a 50% deposit. Everything else was the full amount, paid right here. So what was the not to exceed on that? 53?
There are, all of these say 50% deposit due, not just the one.
I know, but they
All of
didn't
them.
pay. Look at the tops of the invoices. They didn't pay 50% for each of them. That's why the full amounts are right here. 12,409.49.
Requested it, I'm sure. Either way,
Look, I'm showing it to you right here. Look, that says paid by check. These were not paid. The full amount is due,
I'm just saying they
12,409.
requested it, it just maybe not, it maybe didn't happen is my point.
Again, that's making it worse because if they did pay 50%, then this is a double
I don't
payment.
think that they did if it's not showing on here that they did.
Here,
Well, can we defer this one? Because obviously we can't come to a conclusion. We're trying to move this meeting expedient, so we can hold off on it. And like,
I think you're well within your not to exceed amount because that invoice amount is how much?
did I send you the motion?
I think 6,000.
No, that one's, it's multiple. The 6,000 is one line item on it. It's 30-something thousand. And if they've only paid 6,000 ahead of that, they're still
It was on
extremely
your-
little, like under the not to exceed amount.
Well, this is just the customer.
I think there was also like
And
the
then
cubic
put it-
yards. The quote was lower than what.
The initial quote that the board saw was lower, and then
So-
we got revised
I
quotes
pulled up
submitted
all
to the
of
parks.
the vendors, but
There was a revi, oh, yeah, it was actually the actual invoice.
That's a big one.
What's the full amount?
58,184.56.
Did you see it?
I'll have to look.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll tell you exactly what it was. I found the motion for it today. Here it is. It was a not to exceed of 58.5. And what is the total?
58,184.
So they literally, so that's almost a 50% increase over the proposed amount.
It's not, you're missing the point. The initial amount the board saw had lower cubic yardage in the.
Yes, and I actually went through and I did count the yardage.
And so we asked them to match the yardage of the other providers, and then so long as it fell under the amount, and in addition to that, it wasn't all EWF, they also repaired and did
Yes.
PIP repairs
Yes.
out here, so it was still under the approved amount regardless.
It was,
For
yeah,
specific to the EWF.
I hear what you're saying. The proposal they submitted was 29,706.
And then we asked them to bring all of their cubic yardage up to compare apples to apples.
Right, and they went up. So what was the other proposal amount?
And the Parks Committee approved it after the meeting, I'll have to pull it.
The Parks Committee can approve proposals.
The board allowed for a not to exceed amount.
Oh, I see.
The-
So he came back to the full amount of the not to exceed almost, so you basically doubled it. All right, I don't care. At that point, I'm really, we're wasting time talking about it. We received a proposal for 29, we spent 58.
we have a motion on the table.
defer payment until all these checks can be reviewed. And I have David as a second. Any more discussion? Kelly?
No.
Hanoi?
No.
Beth?
No.
David?
I just feel like these bills are not in order and they're a mess, so we should hold off.
So you're saying still, your motion was to pay the checks that have been confirmed and reconciled and defer the remaining ones? Or are you saying hold all checks?
I'm saying defer payment until all of these checks can be reviewed.
Okay, so defer all
All
payment.
of them.
Okay, all right.
When you start sticking things at the end of the day, then there is no way to validate that these are accurate. And I already saw that there are mistakes in
Well, you
these.
have a list that you have reviewed there.
Yes.
List, right, and so the list that you have reviewed in committee should be correct, so why wouldn't we pay the people that you have reviewed?
Because the list
and that
that
we
was
have all signed?
reviewed in committee that's what we reviewed. Those are the correct amounts. The checks are over.
Okay.
Not all of
So
them.
I want to,
Not all of them.
let's submit a motion.
Wait, I need a
We have a
vote on
motion
this one.
already
Thank
on the
you.
table. You have to vote.
Okay, sure.
I will take a vote on deferring these payments until all checks can be reviewed. All in favor? All opposed? All right.
Okay, I would also like to make a motion. I would like to hold the TF Harper check and the resident refund checks until those can be resolved. But I would like to release all of our vendor checks and the other checks that have been signed.
I second that motion.
Any discussion?
Do we need a total dollar amount for what we're approving?
You don't
don't need
need
to.
this now.
Any discussion? No? All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes.
Board, this is Kara speaking. I'm having a little trouble hearing. Can you please verify that you're going to hold the TF Harper check and then the deposit refunds that were not already in the board packet?
Yes, confirmed.
Thank you very much. I have one other topic when you guys have a moment.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to know if you want to continue your AWBD membership. I think I was asked. You guys have been a member of AWBD since 2006. AWBD just needs to know because they will cancel your membership otherwise.
Kara, they already did.
Yeah.
We took care of this last month. Nobody on this board has taken advantage of their offerings, so we have deferred membership until somebody wants to attend something.
Thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome.
I have attended.
Case. This is AWBD she's talking about.
I went to Dallas, yes.
Kara, do you have anything else?
No, ma'am.
I had added, I am going to ask you about the status of the Austin Capital Bank. I'm supposed to be getting a 5-year transaction history. Do you have anything for me on that?
Yes, I would like to know, I thought this was going to be an agenda item. I would like to know if the board is willing to spend the money to get the past history. I'm anticipating $500 to $1,000.
Because the bank is going to charge for it?
The account is closed, yes, ma'am.
Before that account was closed, Cole, you'll recall that I asked before they closed that account, since it only had access by former MUD board directors, nobody could get into that account. I asked Lisa, before you close that account, I'd like to look at a 5-year transaction history. So if they closed the account without getting that history, then they didn't follow the direction.
But the bank isn't going to be charging, it would be your time that you're charging.
I will not charge you for that time.
So you're saying the bank will charge for that?
I believe so. If I have your permission, I will seek that from the bank, or I can also get back to you next month and let you know their charge.
How do we proceed with this?
Well, it's very concerning to me that we had a bank account with $240,000 in it when we finally discovered the account, and only previous board members had access to that account, not even our accountant.
It's concerning to me as well. I'd just like to hear what the other board members
Please,
think
keep
about it.
order. Keep order, please.
Do you have anything to say?
Thoughts on that account, on getting the records of that account?
This is such an easy thing in the digital age to pull statements. I'm not sure why the cost is so great, but we should have the records. It's a large amount of money.
I would go back and check with your auditor. They should have had statements for the prior fiscal years.
All right, I will check with the auditor on this account, and then decide next month whether or not we want to. Well, actually, even if it's $1,000, we're going to spend more than that on a party in the park. So I'll make a motion.
What's the motion?
I'm going to make a motion that we allow Kara to obtain the 5-year transaction history on the Austin Capital Bank with a not to exceed of $1,000.
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to defer until you could look at the auditor history.
Yeah, because if he has it, why would we spend more?
Well,
money?
the audit report does not include a transaction history of accounts. It does not include a transaction history. So he may have the account in there, and I'm sure that he does, but it's not going to tell us anybody who moved money in or took money out. It's not going to show that. The audit report doesn't show that.
I still think we should ask the auditor first before we spend more money.
I would agree. I think we need to defer, check what the auditor records the auditor has. and
All right,
maybe revisit.
I will retract that motion and check with the auditor.
Kara, why don't you still, recommendation, email your contact at the bank and CC me so we can understand why they're charging or what that charge would be, and let's see if we can get out of it. And I'm happy to chime in on the email if necessary, but it'd be helpful to see, and then at least if we have a monetary amount, y'all can be prepared at the next meeting to make a decision that you'll have.
Good enough.
Okay.
Good enough. Also,
Thank
Kara,
you, Cole.
I put on the agenda under yours, begin reviewing the preliminary budget for 2025. That is part of our financial calendar for the district. It is your heads up that we are starting into that budget cycle.
I'm so sorry.
And whatever.
Can you please repeat that? I am having trouble hearing.
I'm sorry. I added from our financial calendar, we start reviewing the preliminary budget for 2025. So this is just your heads up that cycle, we are starting that cycle. Did you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's what that's about. And then the unclaimed property report that goes to the comptroller, that also is on our financial planning calendar. So there must be a due date coming up really close for it to be on our calendar like this. Are you familiar with the unclaimed property report?
I absolutely am.
Okay, so I don't know what the deadlines are for that. I literally based it off the financial calendar.
It's June 30th, and we will be submitting that report on time.
Would you please send a copy of it to the board so we can see what it is you're submitting?
Yes, I certainly may.
Thank you. All right, I think that covers the accountant's report unless anybody has any more questions for Kara. Anybody? No? Moving on. Thank you, Kara. Jacob, are you on the line?
I am here.
It is up to you. You are engineer report, item number 4. Please proceed.
Sure thing. 4A, the status of the Sunchase Park playscape. I believe everyone's seen it out there. The wood fiber work should have been going on this week, and the remaining items. The playground was inspected by Park Pro Tech on June 7th. The inspection report is attached. those items are being worked and resolved. I have been told multiple times that there should be no issues resolving all these items in advance of the grand opening. And been coordinating with McKinsey on that. She's also got an RAS inspector lined up to do the work. I think she'll talk about that. So it looks like all of the inspections should be done. All of the remedies to inspection items should be complete. It's my understanding that everything should be ready for the grand opening for the place game. Any questions on 4A?
Did somebody walk through with our inspector? Did the installer do a punch list with the inspector? Who checked the inspector's installation? I was really surprised, Jacob, to see any failures because it is a certified vendor that did the install. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah, I was surprised at some of the items. Obviously, you know, the playground supplier and vendor, they hire a contractor to install it. So I know that when Scott talked with Cunningham directly, she was embarrassed that, for example, the rock wall was installed upside down. So they weren't the proudest of that installation, but it does sound like everything is going to get remedied.
Tell me this, are we going to have it re-inspected before it opens?
Yes.
Yes.
We are. Would that cost of the reinspection be borne by
I
Cunningham?
don't think that Park Protect is going to charge you to re-inspect. They already didn't charge you to inspect.
Okay,
So they just rolled it in with your quarterly inspections.
perfect.
Because he was able to complete it on the same day that he already completed the Q2 inspections.
Okay, thank you.
And I just want to say, well, I mean, we were all surprised, the Parks Committee was very surprised at the report too. But this is why we have the resolution that all playgrounds will be inspected with a passing inspection before they're open to the public. And so it shows that the process that we put in place is working to protect the residents of the district. Go ahead, Jacob.
Okay. 4B, the status of the park cleanup and tree maintenance. Davy Tree Service has completed that work. Westwood, Scott walked the site with them, said everything looked good. There was a Chinaberry tree that had to get removed that had a light fixture. I know that McKinsey was working on getting a pole installed to reinstall said light. We haven't received an invoice from Davy Tree Service to relay to you guys, but whenever that does get turned in, we do recommend payment of the invoice for Davy Tree Service, assuming obviously it's the same number that was part of the contract. And so if that invoice does come in, we'd be happy to take a look at it and give our thumbs up. But I think the tree maintenance scope part of it is complete.
Okay. All right.
All right. Item 4C, the hatch lift station. There was some, I'll try to keep it short. There was a startup attempt. It failed due to missing equipment. So they had the lift station on bypass. The bypass was over the Memorial Day holiday weekend. But they did get it started up officially on the 30th, working and functioning. There was some items that needed to be resolved and still needed to be resolved, but technically the lift station is deemed substantially complete as of May 30th, meaning that the district is receiving beneficial use of the facility. The existing pumps that have been repaired after the failure last spring, along with the check valves and the temporary control panel that was installed, those have all been picked up by municipal operations and stored, just so in the event that the district ever needs them, they're available. I did do a final walkthrough with the contractor and the electrician on June 11th and prepared a punch list, which is attached to this report, of various items that need to be remedied by the contractor prior to receiving final acceptance of the work and release of retainage. They are working on those items now. I have reached out to the previous electrical engineer that was working with Gray Engineering on the job since they did the engineering design for the electrical side of things. I have not heard back from them. I will continue to call and email trying to get them to be involved. to review the electrical scope. I picked up what I know about electricity and electrical installation, but I would like their validation. If for whatever reason they choose not to respond or help, I will report back. And I have some electrical engineers that wouldn't mind taking a look at it for a very, very small rate to help the district out. So, but I will not be recommending final payment until an electrical engineer does look at these components. We did receive pay application number 3 from the contractor. That is attached to this report in the amount of $306,900. The application still has 10% retainage and some additional scope for a couple of the items that weren't fully at 100%. So I think there's about $80,000 outstanding on the contract that is still out there to be paid. But with that, the work has been done that's on the pay application. I have looked at it. So I do request that the board look at approving and authorizing that payment of the pay application in the amount of $306,900. With that, I did receive a call from the contractor yesterday notifying me that he's having issues with his pump and control panel vendor, Smith & Loveless. This is the same equipment vendor that was delayed in shipping the equipment, and the same equipment vendor that shipped parts that didn't work upon that initial failed startup. This vendor has told the contractor that he is going to put a lien on the job because they haven't been paid. They submitted the invoice for the equipment to the contractor in March, I believe, even though they did not deliver the equipment until May. So I felt the need that you guys should know that the contractor is potentially having a lien placed on them because they haven't paid Smith & Loveless, albeit this amount in pay application number 3 is the money that the contractor would use to pay back Smith & Loveless for the invoice. So again, I can speak to the work that's been done. The contractor should be paid for the work that's been done, but I'll defer to Cole here on how to handle the potential lien. We have not received any documentation, not just the phone call that I was told about.
Yeah, they also signed in their pay application, you'll see they provided a conditional waiver and a release on the progress payment, so the district won't be held liable for any liens that are placed on the contractor. So, you know, and it says in here, the signer, who's the contractor, warrants that the signer has already paid or will use the funds received from this progress payment to promptly pay in full all the signer's labor, subcontractors, material men, continues on. So, I mean, yeah, this is kind of, Jacob and I talked about this earlier, it's kind of a situation in which the contractor, I guess, doesn't have the funds on hand to pay his sub, so he needs to get paid for, I think he's been, you know, he hasn't been paid one, the sub's been out for 3 months, because he obviously, the sub placed the order for everything, but it hasn't come in yet, so the sub had paid. So, I mean, you all have 2 options. One, you could approve the payment and rely on the conditional waiver and release of the progress payment, or you could hold payment, defer it, wait and see if there's actually a lien being placed, or, I mean, this kind of just got, you know, dropped in my lap this morning, last night and this morning, so you could defer it, wait for us to investigate a little bit more, reach out to the subs, figure out what's actually happening, so you all can make an informed decision. So it's really, I mean, the conditional waiver and release will cover you, you can pay, but if you want to investigate a little bit further and decide, you know, what type of lien is being placed, what's actually happening, then my recommendation would probably be to defer and get more information.
But Jacob, let me see if I understand correctly. You have, you concur with the payment of $306,900 for that work that has been complete, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and if we pay that to Liberty Civil, we have to rely on Liberty Civil to pay the sub with that money?
Right, and that's what they say.
How do we do that? How do we
well,
have control of that?
that's what their conditional waiver and release is for. So if for whatever instance they didn't, you all are still not going to be liable for whatever the contractor does. That's what this release is providing.
But you're recommending that we defer even this $306,900 payment. Is that your recommendation?
I I don't like recommending anything unless I have all the facts.
Okay.
That's my position.
Fair enough.
Now, the release form, have you checked and it has all the compliance in place? I just don't want, I mean, we don't want to be in a situation where, you know, we do release the money and then we are held, you know, liable as well.
Well, right, that's one reason why I would want to see the lien, hear from the contractor and have the contractor provide the lien to us so we can actually put our eyes on it before recommending anything. I mean, I think if the concern is that you all want to ensure that Liberty Civil gets paid prior to the next month's meeting, you can approve the check, have Jacob hold it until the lien situation gets resolved. That would ensure that they could get paid prior to the meeting. If something arises that's going to require a board decision, if it's more advanced than what you all think, then you can, then we'll just bring it to the board and you all can make that decision at the July meeting. It's really up to you all.
I'll take a motion.
I move that we defer and you do the research and then we can make a decision.
I second that.
Any more discussion? Beth?
No.
David?
I'm a little torn. I like Cole's recommendation of approving the amount that Jacob said, and having Jacob hold on to it. And if anything arises, then we can still hold that check, but, where he recommended that, we pay them, we are getting operation out of that lift station, so that's my concern. Where I'm split.
Yeah, I have a question. The other question I have they fully performed?
That would be a question for your engineer.
Jacob, have they fully performed? Are we for sure that do we have a pending punch list? Do we have anything that's pending?
10% of the work.
Yeah, so there's each of those line items that are in the pay application are not all the way to 100%. The pump number, there were some issues with the sump pumps that I had been told have been resolved already, which I told them they couldn't bill 100%, they needed to bill less than that. And then the second item as well. So, like I said, there is 10% retainage plus the remainder of those items, which I'm scrolling to my pay up right now to get the exact details of that, but there is.
So is your information based on a report or actual confirmation from your end as to?
Yeah, I went out there and reviewed everything with them. So, for example, the third item down in regards to the pumps, I told them they could only bill 95% because that put it at a number that accounted that left 12,000 of that line item that would have been allowed to go find those sump pumps and get them installed easily. And similar for the electrical panel, there's some electrical items that they haven't done. So I only let them bill up to 90%, leaving an amount there as well. Plus you have the retainage 10% across the whole job. So left on the project, there's $80,300 to be paid to Liberty Civil, in which case in the contract, you are not allowed to pay the final amount and release retainage unless they submit an affidavit of no liens remaining on the job. So you're protected in that regard. I think with the release of lien waiver that's in the payout today, plus the retainage that you have, which is enough money to encourage Liberty Civil to actually finish everything, I think you're in a position that you would not be subject to substantial risk by paying. But I'm totally fine with telling them that you guys deferred and for them to submit any documentation on the lien and let us look at it.
Kelly?
Yes?
Do you have anything to add to this?
I mean, I feel like this is such a large amount of money, and if there are questions outstanding and Cole's telling us he doesn't have all the information, that we really can't be casual with releasing this amount of money until we have all the information.
Okay. My only comment, Jacob, is if our releasing this check to Liberty Civil gets them to pay their subs and prevents their sub from putting a lien on the project, we come out ahead. But I guess there's no way to guarantee that Liberty Civil takes that check and pays its subs.
Right, I mean, they have agreed to do that. They have a contract with their subs that requires it. I mean, that's a contract between two
Right.
parties that aren't us.
Right.
The conditional waiver that they've provided also states that, it's a signed waiver that states that they will provide payment if necessary to pay off any liens that are associated with the progress payment. Jacob has ensured that the lien is associated with this progress payment, so those two items connect. I think, do I think an issue would come up to put the district in jeopardy? No. But that said, stranger things have happened, and you're talking about $300,000, so it's not, I don't think anyone needs to be cavalier with that type of money. You all, I mean, if you think, if the mindset is, well, I get it, we can pay, they'll pay off their sub and there'd be no lien and the ball will keep moving, then probably the recommendation would be to approve the check, have Jacob hold it until the contractor can send us an email with a copy of the lien, we can compare it to his waiver that he's provided and then sign off and say, this is fine, and Jacob pays the sub. Otherwise, if it's a much larger problem, we just say, we're gonna hold until the next board meeting.
Well, the motion is to defer payment until the next meeting. So I will take a vote on that motion. All in favor? Or do you want to change your motion?
I just wanted to make sure, on the language, it seems that it's subject to one specific type of lien, which is a mechanic's lien, and I don't know if that needs to be brought in. This question might be too premature for you, but that's what I'm thinking. We should defer to your research.
We'll know, if you defer, then certainly we'll know what type of lien it is, because we'll have, a couple weeks to get it from them. Again, though, approving it subject to getting a copy of the lien, or approving it subject to us having getting an email from the sub and the contractor of what's actually going on, then we'll know right then and there where you all are okay and covered.
Do you want to modify your motion, or do you want to keep it to defer?
Because if we can pay them and it is correct, then it can go out. But if it's not correct, we're gonna wait till next month, right?
Jacob, your thoughts? Can you speak into this? I just want to hear your thoughts as the engineer. What's your recommendation?
I will give you this piece of information. Again, all I have is a phone call. I haven't received said lien. Liberty Civil told me that it's kind of a chicken and egg deal that they're in. They don't have the cash on hand to just pay it and wait for you guys to pay them. And so if you guys defer, I do foresee this lien, this problem just continuing until they complete all of the punch list items and you release all the money at that time. But even so, they wouldn't be able to provide you the affidavit of no liens because they wouldn't be able to pay Smith and Loveless. Now, obviously, that's not a problem of you guys. That's a problem of Liberty Civil. And this lift station at this point is kind of like the Bermuda Triangle of issues. So my recommendation would be for you guys to approve the check but defer providing it to Liberty Civil until a copy of the lien can be provided to your attorney for review to ensure that the conditional waiver ensures that you guys have no liability.
He just said it, because if something happens with that lift station between now and then, we're in a lot of trouble.
Do you want to change your motion?
Yeah, let's amend the motion.
To what he just said?
To reflect exactly what Jacob said.
Okay, did you get all that, what he just said? Okay. Yeah, I actually think that's a better move, because if we can avoid a lien and just get this project done, that's in the best interest. So you'll hold the check, Jacob? Is that how that works?
No, obviously this payoff was added to my report very late in the week, so I know your bookkeeper likely doesn't have a check ready just yet.
No, there isn't one.
But when she does get it ready, they can mail it to my office, and I will hold it until Cole and I meet all the conditions that need to be met.
Okay, so Cole, do we need a motion to release a check in that amount to be held until you've looked at the lien thing?
Yeah, the motion I have is motion by Hanoi to pay the invoice, so
Okay.
it would be in that amount, yeah.
Okay, all right, then we're good with that. I just need a vote. All in favor?
So on that check, is it gonna be mailed to Westwood?
Yep.
But we still need signatures from the board members to,
That's true.
so should it come here and then?
Yeah, Jake would
Come
have
up
to
here and
coordinate
sign it.
it, yeah.
If we've done before.
Yeah, if all the conditions are met, I'll circulate around and get signatures from you guys.
Yep. Okay, thank you. All right, I think we've covered that one. Thank you, Jacob.
No problem. The next item, D, discuss assessment of the hatch lift station failure. Westwood reviewed the provided documentation of the work order and the logbook, and we're available to discuss with the board.
Are you prepared to give us your findings of that review, or are you prepared?
I'm prepared for sure. I know that we talked about it in the past with the board about the logbook. I mean, about the work order documentation, the logbook, which is the literally the book at the facility that gets handwritten on. Confirmed a lot of what was in the work order documentation, and that something was noticed at the hatch lift station, and then there was a period of time without any entries from Infomart.
Okay, and did you find that the failure of that lift station was due to negligence by Infomart? Based on what you looked at?
I don't know if I can say that exactly, Linda, that the failure was caused. The leak was noticed, or water in the dry well was noticed, and preventative actions were not necessarily taken or not documented that they were taken that would have kept that leak from becoming what it did and causing the damage. So I don't know that the damage was caused. I think preventative action was not taken.
So, all right. I'm going to move this meeting into a closed session to seek counsel from the attorney on the actions for this particular agenda item. All right? I'm going to ask everybody please to step outside while we, except Jacob, I'm going to call you back on my phone, okay?
That's fine.
I completely forgot about you. We're almost done with this item.
No worries.
Cole, your mic?
Thanks.
Are we running?
Reese just turned it back on.
All right, we are coming back from a closed session. It is 8:37 p.m. I am going to provide a motion. I move that the district use a litigator to draft a demand letter to Infomart to recover the costs associated. Hold on, I'm going to have to reread it. It's not going, the recording.
Okay.
Ready? Okay, let me do this over. I move that the district use a litigator to draft a demand letter to Infomart to recover the costs associated with repairing the hatch lift station failure. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? Should we have discussion so that the public knows?
Sure, you can do a brief, yeah, you can do a brief discussion.
Beth? No. Nothing? David?
No,
You good?
not right now.
Hanoi? Kelly? For the public that's watching, we had a failure of a lift station last year, the Hatch lift station, cost the district a whole lot of money. We are going to try to recover some of that money. So that's the purpose of this motion and the purpose of a demand letter from a litigator. So, with that said, I will call for the vote. All in favor? All opposed? Are you opposed?
She voted yes.
Did you vote yes?
I did.
Okay. All right. That covers that one. Jacob? Are you with us? Do you want to do the rest of your agenda item?
Yeah, sure thing. The next item is the status of the district facility assessment. Cole, if you don't mind merging item E with item G, we're kind of doing the facility assessment, the asset management plan, and the CIP all together. Essentially, we've gotten started. We did do a site visit. We've actually done 2 site visits, one to look at some lift stations, and then Maggie went back out to get some photos of some of the panels that were locked and inside the wet wells and dry wells. So she got all the photos of the lift stations and the water and sewer meters. We have another meeting, another site visit scheduled, I think, next week to go document all of the ponds and other assets. So we're working through developing that facility assessment. We've got somebody working on the asset management plan and tabulating that spreadsheet. So we're tracking well on that task. I think our goal is to get all that together so that we have information for you all to aid in the budget preparation process. So that's kind of a quick summary of the lead and copper rule revisions. We're working on that as well. Still trying to exhaust any and all desktop studies or research that can be done to avoid any field investigation. I will tell you it is trending towards needing to mobilize to the field to do some investigation. So I'll have that decision made by the July meeting so that we have time to do that and finalize the inventory before October. So that's E, F, G. And then item I, we did meet with the infrastructure committee, which was great to do. And we're going to continue to do that on a monthly basis. You can see a copy of those meeting minutes attached to the report. With that, that's all I have. So if anyone has any questions, fire away.
Does anybody have any questions for Jacob? Anybody? No? Okay. That sounds like it, Jacob. Thank you very much. It is 8:41. That's 2 hours and 10 minutes.
I move that we extend the meeting as necessary to finish the critical items.
Which would be?
The business of the district, the manager's report. And
One of 6D,
6A, 6D.
6B, 6D.
6A, C, D.
So 5, right, general manager's report?
Yeah.
Is there any of that on the general manager that we can hold off?
Some of it I can, but some of it needs to be addressed in order to be prepared for the grand opening for Sunchase.
Okay, well, let's just get started. Again, the most abbreviated version you can give.
All right, if y'all will go to our report, that's the 6.24 BR, scroll down to page 11. We can just take these items right off the top. We got a quote from Landcare, it's also included further down in the packet for $3.32 and 1 cent to remove a dead tree over Astor Pass Park. There's a picture of that as well. And just to note, the grass looking high in that picture has already been mowed. That was addressed shortly thereafter when the picture was taken. So that is to remove that dead tree right there in that picture.
And Mackenzie, 1 second, sorry. I hate to be this person, but since you all did just vote to approve your resolution earlier, and you put the motion, I think Hanoi seconded, but
Oh,
to do
no.
a vote, I want you all to, if you're gonna adopt
Oh.
the resolution, stick to it.
For the
Otherwise-
time
Yeah, for
extension?
the time.
Let's just do it
So-
all.
Did we get a second on that
I didn't
extending?
second that extension.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it, but
I'll second.
No, it's Hanoi seconded it, so you just need a vote. Again, I'm sorry, it's slowing it down, but I figured you should
You're right.
adopt.
Okay, so all in favor?
Yeah.
Next item on the to be approved is, there's a stuck valve here at Lakeline Oaks that they discovered. Reese let them know that we had some water running. They came out, turned it off, diagnosed after the fact, and the stuck valve is going to cost $568. Your annual renewal for your Google Drive and all your licensure is also up for this month. It actually, I think, renews in July. The total amount for that is $1,008. And then the only other items that we needed to cover, did not make the report because I had the conversation with the RIS inspector this morning. And finally got confirmation of what could be approved. Touch base with Jacob as well to confirm none of the work would be duplicated from his end to this end, and it will not be. There's a gentleman, his last name is Cole, first name is James, who's going to be performing the RIS inspection. It's a 3-part deal. You have your registration with TDLR first. He will file that registration. Once the registration is filed, they will do what they call a plan review with TDLR, and it's a list of questions that he'll have to go over, likely with Jacob and team, potentially Scott on Jacob's team, to cover all the basis of the questions that TDLR has to ask about that plan review. Once the plan review is complete and the questionnaire is submitted, then they do a RIS inspection. He is certified to do all of those items. His total cost was a not to exceed of $1,800, but I talked to him about potentially bumping it up to $2,000 to add some contingency for any potential redoing of meetings, if they have to come back and ask further questions or anything like that, and he said that that would be perfect. And I've also talked to Kelly about this. I caught her on the phone today as well during my many phone calls, and wanted to make sure that this would be something that she wanted brought forth.
Yes, and I will move that, that we approve the not to exceed of $2,000 for the RAS inspection, which is the TOS compliance that was talked a lot about last summer. So this is the TDLR accessibility for the park. So not to exceed for $2,000 on that.
yeah, second that.
Any discussion? I guess I'm confused. I don't really understand what the RAS is.
So RAS is completely separate from the inspections that Park Protect can perform. Go ahead.
Stands for Registered Accessibility Specialist.
And so you register it with TDLR, and you then receive what's called a TABS number. It's TABS. I don't know what that stands for, but the gentleman today explained that to me. Once you have your TABS number, the plan review can begin. Once the plan review is completed, the inspection can begin.
Okay, and that's for all the parks?
That's just for Sun Chase,
Oh.
because it's a new build, which y'all agreed, I believe, in a resolution that you approved some months back to do this
Okay.
inspection moving forward for all
Okay.
new.
I get it. Anybody have any questions? No? Nobody? All in favor?
Do y'all want to take the 3 items listed in the top of the board packet together as an approval, since they're all 3 listed and we've touched base on those?
Yes.
So the motion would be to approve items as presented for approval, for 2 for Land Care, 1 for Onyx/Google.
I move we approve the items in the manager's report for Land Care and Onyx/Google.
You get a second? Can you give me a total of that? Can you tell that up for me? I'll just put an amount in.
Yes, I can. $1,908.01.
What valve, do you know what valve they're talking about, Mackenzie?
Excuse me, it covers your flower pots right here in front, your big one, and the side parking lot right here with the big pine trees.
So it's one valve that controls all of those
It was stuck, which that's.
Stuck
when
open
they-
or stuck closed?
Stuck open, which is when. they
I will
come
second
out.
that motion. We didn't have a second on it. I will second that motion. Is there any further discussion on these items, these 3 items? No? All in favor?
Yes,
I'm voting no.
David's a no?
An item came in actually just ahead of your meeting, and unfortunately Park Protect's been having a hard time getting some quotes in. During the Q2 inspections that were conducted, the 360 spinner, 360 slide at Anderson Millis Park had a broken support. I'm sure some of you may have noticed. It was severely taped off by them. That was an item he called me on the day of his inspections and let me know he could not leave the park without providing some sort of efforts to mitigate someone trying to use it. I asked him to immediately provide a quote. He provided that quote to me literally ahead of your meeting. That quote came in. It's in your board packet. It's titled 2024-0619 install only. And that is for the removal and repouring with patch for the 360 slide. And it's because the footing is broken. The slide doesn't need to be replaced. It's where it's attached to the ground that needs to be repaired. So the total amount for that is $1,750. So $1,750.
At Anderson Mill West.
Yes, ma'am.
I move to approve Park Protect to repair the slide at Anderson Mall West for the amount of $1,750.
Except this description says install of tennis court windscreen.
I think that he was just trying to get it
Going
out fast. Yeah,
Okay.
he did let me know he has other quotes forthcoming. He's been reaching out to a certain vendor that has let him know they no longer service Cedar Park, but has put him in touch with the new person that does, and he's been in contact with them already for replacement parts. We also had a bolt situation that he's working on.
David, did you make that motion?
Yes.
Okay, I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
The only other item that truly needs board attention and just approval on is your CCR. This is your Consumer Confidence Report. It starts on page 13 of my report. All items were in compliance for the month. You will notice that on page 3 of that, there is 2 violations noted for the same time period. These violations have already been mitigated. Cole had actually sent me the violation letter from TCEQ, and we immediately jumped on it and discovered that DSHS, which is the company that processes the payment for the lab work that is done, was sending them to Infomark's old address in Florida. I did check with our Infomark IMS team and verified that all bills that they have been receiving from WTC have been getting basically compiled on a bi-weekly basis, put in a FedEx and sent over to Artesian. Checked with Artesian just to verify that they had not received or paid the bills yet. Neither of which had happened, so I made immediate payment so that they would then release the samples to TCEQ. So TCEQ, and the way that this works, just for board recollection, is TCEQ actually sends out their own sampler, and the sampler reaches out to Infomark and lets us know it's time to do whichever quarterly samples. We schedule for the tech to be there on site when the samples are taken at the designated sample points within the district. And then once those samples are done, that goes over to DSHS for payment of samples. When that payment is cleared is when DSH lets the lab know to release the sample results to TCEQ. So that's why there was a bit of a rigmarole here. But I have verified with DSHS that all items have been paid up, and I have gotten all payment information updated to move to Artesian moving forward. And I have verified, and you'll notice there is one, I think, in your packet for the first quarter or second quarter of this year for your samples for DSHS for payment of invoices. So it's moving forward now. It was just a small glitch you guys had within the transition of bookkeepers, but it's been mitigated. But both of those items are notated on your report.
Is TCEQ going to find us?
As far as I understand, I don't believe so. The violation has to be listed on your CCR per records. But given that our compliance department has reached back out to TCEQ and verified that they did receive all sample results were also in compliance. So if you guys would please review and approve the CCR, this has to go out in your bills. So it's going out first thing tomorrow morning. This gets attached to the back of your bills for this month.
Anyone want to give me a motion? Tell me what the motion would sound like, Mackenzie.
You would just approve your CCR as presented. You do it annually. It's something you do every year.
I move that we approve the CCR as presented by district manager.
Anybody want to give me a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? 4 and 1 absent.
The
Motion.
last item I had, and the only reason I'm bringing this up, and y'all can tell me if you want to defer it, household hazardous waste program.
Yes, because I feel like I've been trying to get this done for many months.
It's included in our reports, if you guys would like to. I put in the same information we've already all touched base on. No opt-out options, $1.40 per home, minimum of a 1-year agreement, and then they will provide reporting as far as who uses it, so the district can evaluate after a year if it's something that you want to continue to do.
Okay, and we have a plan in place to begin notifying the residents
Yes,
once we
we
adopt
will,
this?
we've kind of all discussed that, we'll put some blurb on the next bill. I don't know if I'll be able to make it for tomorrow, so I'll do my best. And then we'll put the sign out to let people know, we'll direct them to the website, create a blog post, similarly to what we've done for Sunchase.
Does Waste Management have any pamphlets or anything on their waste
I've
program?
asked Paul, and I don't think that they do, so we might just go ahead and make one of our own with some information from the packet he gave us on it. They have a packet, but it's not in pamphlet form.
And you'll put a notice on the website about this new
Yes,
program?
so what we're gonna do is put the sign out and direct people to go to the website to look at it.
I need a motion.
I move that we approve the household hazardous waste program for a period of 1 year.
I second that.
Cole will review the language just to verify that adding that into your current contract as an amendment doesn't cause any issues, I'm sure.
Yeah, just send it to me if you don't mind.
Any discussion? This is for the hazardous waste program, 1 year. All in favor?
I think that is all items that are pertinent to need to be discussed.
And
Vote yes, Beth.
I just want to
She did.
double check, because you did, part of your report is the illicit discharge of
Yes, it's
pool
in there as
water.
well, I didn't know if you wanted to.
Who seconded?
Anyway.
Thanks.
Tell me briefly what action will be taken on that.
So the action to be taken is actually going to need to be up to the board, because for the board to understand, we got a report from a resident who was receiving runoff from a neighbor's property. Ended up being determined to be pool water was being discharged to someone else's home. I'm assuming that they were dewatering, and they may have just dewatered from a hose and placed it in the yard, I don't know. This neighbor was adamant it was pool water, per your stormwater management program, developed and made by Gray Engineering, that's kind of been changed over the years, that including into your MS4 permit is considered an illicit discharge. So with that being said, I reflected immediately back to your stormwater management plan, and it had actually noted that it would be in your district rules and regulations for how the board would like to handle sort of, violations or people reporting one another. I had Cole's office double check after I looked at the rules and regs. It did not get updated once that stormwater management plan had gone out, so there is no language for how the board would like to proceed with something of this nature. So it's up to the board to decide if you want to send a friendly letter to that person to say, you've been reported of, an illegal or an illicit discharge. Please make sure that this does not happen again. Infomark would be happy to draft it, and we can just be like, please no longer do this as far as a first offense goes. And then that letter will be saved and documented in your next MS4 annual report, because you do have to report on all actions taken for reported illicit discharges.
And where is this property?
Spider Lily.
Is it the lady that was complaining about water in the side yard? Is this the same
It
property?
backed up to the open area in between Black Cherry and Spider Lily, and so it had flooded into that.
And they sent pictures of
Yeah.
several portions of their yard flooded with water, no rain happened.
So they drained their pool on the ground?
Yeah. That's what it
is
seemed
the,
like.
what's the
it's the
correct way
chlorine.
to
What
do
is,
that?
what is the correct way to discharge?
Typically have to have it hauled off or dechlorinated prior to dewatering. So if it was completely dechlorinated, which I can guarantee you it likely wasn't, it's very costly to do that, it's an illegal discharge. So they have to have a company come in, and a lot of pool companies do dechlorination to turn your chlorination system off. So unless they could provide us something that showed that this happened and it was conducted, or they have to have a hauler come in.
I think the details of how to do it properly need to be included in the letter.
Just a friendly
If
letter.
they do it again. And also, it needs to be on the website so that anybody else with a pool will know how to do it right.
Has this ever come up before in the
No,
past?
you've never actually had a reported illicit discharge to date. We actually used to have a drop down on the website when it was like things you could email in, and one of them was report an illicit discharge, and no one ever reported anything in.
Okay.
Can we just send a friendly letter?
I can draft a
we need to
letter, you
vote.
can review
Sure.
it, and we can go from there.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with all of the above, friendly letter. This was reported as a deed violation, but I think we're dealing with it this way under the MS4. But, yeah.
We'll draft a friendly
Better
letter, we'll notate
education.
dechlorination efforts, or just haul, pump and haul. Similar to sludge, but cost significantly less because it's not sludge. We'll put all those options in there. We just can't provide them with any sort of people to use because the district is liable for providing contractors
So
information.
if they do it again, what is our recourse or
I
what?
think that y'all are gonna need to talk about at a future date, obviously we're kind of over time tonight, updating your rules and regs per what your stormwater management plan says, because it directs you back to your rules.
That
and
would be
regs.
something that Jacob would do, because he's the stormwater management
I'll
person.
talk about it with
So-
Jacob and then.
I was gonna say, there you go. That's-
Just let him know that it does specifically state in the stormwater management plan, which he's reviewed, that the basically course of action would be identified in the rules and regs. So you need to have some sort of information in there for how the district would proceed with a process like that in the future.
Okay, great, thank you so much.
All right.
So we just need a motion then.
Motion for a letter.
I move that we instruct Mr. Mark to write a letter to the reported address of the illicit discharge of pool water in the manner that we discussed. And to update the website with
We'll put some
information.
information on the MS4 page.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Oh, no.
You're a no? Did you say, did you?
I said yes.
All right. Next.
Agenda item 6.
Do you want to do the rate order? Okay.
So yes, that's only gonna be, which it'll have to be an update of, no, I think we're fine. We determined last month we were still under the basic services fee, but we had put this on here to potentially increase it when y'all voted to go with the household hazardous waste program.
And we were going to address it during the budget cycle.
And we also, well, one of the big things we added was we had the discussion regarding appeals, whether or not they could be written or in person, and you all debated. So the rate order should be in your Google Drive. You'll see on page 6 of the rate order, the first red sentence is what you all approved at the last meeting, which states the operator shall notify the customer at the time of the service call that if the problem is found to be on the customer side of the connection, the customer will bear the cost. You all approved that last meeting. Then we added section F, which has appeals for the assessment of non-routine fees or penalties, whether written or in person, should be made to the board of directors who, after deliberation, will make a determination on a case-by-case basis. That's the new language that you all requested to be in for this one. So
And you added that the residents are notified in advance. I saw that on one of the, you get 2 rate orders in your folder. One of them had language that said the resident would be made aware that if the problem was on their side.
that's it. Yeah, that's it. That should be at the top of page. Well, I don't know on the Google Drive, but I'm looking at the top of page 6. That was approved at the last meeting. But because you all wanted to add other language, we just decided to wait to approve it until we added the other language, which is the section F.
All right, I move we approve the new rate order with those 2 changes.
So we'll finalize it and send it to you all. Okay.
Second that.
All in favor?
Can we get some discussion first, maybe? You mind letting me run it? Thank you. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Thank you.
Do you have anything else?
I do not. Other than noting your inventory is included, it's also provided Nicole for the open record request you received, and also the monument sign letters have been reattached at no cost from Southwest Monument.
All that.
Did they find the letters inside the,
I didn't ask them where they found them. I think that one of them was on the ground, buried under just debris that had kind of collected over time.
All right.
6A?
6A,
Park.
parks.
We already approved the RAS, so the only thing left is just a small update on the grand opening party on the 29th. I did hire Joe McDermott. Beth, thank you for the suggestion. He looks like a lot of fun, and he was affordable, so he will be there. He'll be there from 11 to 1. We have face paint and balloon animals and the Bananarchy food truck with frozen banana treats available for the residents to purchase. We're also gonna bring in some just bottles of water and snacks, just in case the line for the truck gets too long, you know. And we've got some signage going up around the district, and that's the update on the.
Did he ask to be paid in advance?
I believe, yeah, it's part
Yeah.
of, when you typically for services specifically, they are paid in advance. When it's goods, it's usually deposit and then the rest is paid after. So. And we've already paid the deposit for the others, I believe Bananarchy and the paint place. If I'm not mistaken, or one of the two.
Right.
Paint by Kara.
Right.
One of them I paid the deposit for.
That was the face painting and balloon animals. So I don't have anything else for parks.
neither do
All right, and deed restriction committee,
Nothing.
no new complaints?
Only the pool water.
Did the gentleman on Dayflower with the ant problem, did he correct his ant problem?
Actually, yes, a couple of weeks after the letter went out, the yard was mowed, and I also wanted to point out that his pest control person, before the yard was mowed, also noted that there was an active chigger infestation over there in addition to the fire ants. So, but really happy the homeowner rectified that, and the house appears to be occupied again. So that's closed.
One thing I would like to add here, Cole, I did look at the letter that you sent in your folder.
I saw the call.
If we would, please identify the specific violation so that they can find it inside of the deed that you attach.
Sure.
Information Management Committee? Anything?
Well, I do want to give an update. I think somebody made a comment regarding Cynthia. It is my understanding that both Beth and I have replied to her email, and I've made it very clear, and this is what I wrote to her. I have recommended that we do not admit any members of the public into a committee until we'll have a board approval. Committees do not have the power to make decisions on behalf of the district. So at this point, I'm hearing people from the public wanting to join and being part of a committee, which I think is a great idea. My concern is that we are actually allowing people from the public to get in contact with our consultants without the board approving this action. So I made it very clear that unless we are in agreement and we have some clear rules in place, we shouldn't be involving the public, because it gets muddy, and so I don't want to be involved in that. And I've told Cynthia very clear that unless I get clear directives from the board, I do not feel comfortable inviting anybody to a committee, other than what the board has decided to include, which in this case is Beth and I.
We can put that on an agenda at another time.
Yeah. So, yeah, just want to make it very clear that I did reply to her email, and
I saw your
Beth has
reply
been in-
today.
and
I
Beth
did
has
too, a
been
lot
in-
over a week ago.
But I do want to add that having residents participate in a committee is not making a decision, because committees don't make decisions, and any resident who wants to be involved in
Well, the way I
the
see it,
district.
including a resident in a committee is taking an action. I don't feel comfortable with that unless the board approves that we are going to include members of the public in our committee.
We talked about that last
I don't
month.
recall, I've looked up and I don't see any action taken from the board.
It's on the
to
agenda
bring-
under 8A. you all just, last month, my recollection is you discussed adding Cynthia to
We
the
discussed
information
Well,
committee.
anybody. We
Or,
didn't-
or anyone who
Yeah, we
expressed
made
interest.
discussion, but we never made a motion to do that.
Correct,
Yeah.
and so we have it on the agenda under 8A for appointing volunteer residents to certain committees and reaching out to individuals to the district for committee involvement.
I did, well, we can talk about that.
Okay, well, we don't have to finish that this evening, but I do want to ask the management committee if they approved the change of the appearance of the district's website.
So that was not even an option given, that is just based off of the platform that they had to switch to because the old one expired.
Okay, well, the reason I bring that up is because the committee needs to go out there now and check every link, because links are broken throughout that website now. When they made the change, they broke links. And they need to tell us before they make changes like that, so that the committee will have an opportunity to go check after the fact. If it's not an optional thing like this, so that, or the future support person can be assigned the task of going to check every link to make sure they work. But there's a lot of broken links out there now on the website, so.
We were given our new login instructions, and that was our notification.
Yep.
Yeah, we might want to revisit that with Touchstone in the future about making
I
changes.
just wanted to touch base for the lady who spoke regarding her meter malfunction. The way that your rate order reads, and I know that y'all discussed this at a future meeting, is that we would pull the meter and have it tested. I don't believe that there's a meter malfunction. I have the work order that the text states he did go out there. There was spinning on the meter. You know, he tagged the door. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. But the next step would be to pull the meter and have it tested. The only problem is that if it comes back and the meter is fine, she is responsible for the test fee for the rate order. So just for y'all to consider when y'all discuss if that's the action you want to take and the route you want to move forward with, that is what we would, that is the next step for the rate order.
So are we discussing that next meeting?
You can, I just wanted y'all to all be aware that.
Well, somebody
I
needs
have it
to
on
look
the
at
agenda.
her complaint. I mean, I honestly I don't have an electric meter, so I don't know what she's seeing. I don't understand.
She had some extended use for about 2.5 days and then it just stopped.
And she's
has
saying
not
she
come
didn't
back.
use the water.
That's
And-
what that's what she's claiming.
And the difference in her bill is $5?
$4.91.
And her meter fee, if we do test it and it comes back fine, is going to be 50 to 75.
And then when she came into the office, we offered to go out, and our senior tech was here, and he offered to go out to her home and check it then again for her, and she completely refused. And she's like, no, I can see right now on my phone that it's not spinning now. It does no good to go check it now. So just a little background on her.
But she has access to the
Yes.
Badger? Then
Yes.
we can see her history.
Yes,
We can see the spinning history.
absolutely.
The thing is it only shows it for the 3 days that she's claiming. And the thing is even if you have the history, and she complained about when she was alerted, you go in and set up your own leak alert parameters. So when you hit a certain GPM, it will tell you, FYI, we think you have a leak in your system, it's been going for X amount of time. So,
Well, what do we do? I mean, we're talking $5 here. What are we going to do? Is that an appeal?
I mean, technically, yes, it's an appeal. It's,
I explained to her too that she did not fall out of the threshold to the next tier either for us to even try to do a leak adjustment, even though this isn't that. She went from 1,000 gallons to 2 in a month. That's as high as it went.
Any suggestions on how to handle this?
Give her $4.
I even tried to ask her if she had an irrigation system. I asked her if she checked the water heater. She did not want to have to even hear any of that. She was very adamant that it was a meter malfunction. I think Cole can attest to that. We were both in here. I was trying everything I could to trace it back to figure it out. She claims it was a meter malfunction. Our tech did not see anything wrong. The meter
Well,
box was not wet.
maybe she just needs to, she needs to understand that we can test the meter, but there's a
I
charge for
told her
that.
that too. She said that she did not want that.
Well, I don't know.
Can we put it on
What do
next
you
month's
do?
agenda that
No, we told her we would give her
Yeah, I
a-
mean, you all have, you can discuss it right now and take action right now. I mean, you also have a new rate order which says, appeals can be made in person or
Yeah.
email or phone call, so you have the right, and it's all board discretion, so, you all have the right to decide whatever you want.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion. We'll spend more time talking about it. I move that we refund the lady $5.
I'll second that.
Would you like that issued as a credit to the account?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, jeez. Yes, I should.
I don't remember her name, I don't,
I did.
We have it all.
Yeah.
Don't worry, and if Cole needs it, we can give it to him, for as far as.
for the motion, you'll need her name.
Her
Oh,
name
do
should
you
be
have it?
on the.
Yeah, I have it in the minutes.
Kathy Ingram.
Or I have it on the sign-in sheet.
19.
All right, any discussion? All in favor? No?
No.
All right. 9:13. Want to extend the meeting? I think we covered
We
the
only
item.
have one more,
We have
right?
one more item B on 6.
D?
Yep, review committee
Oh.
assignments.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I want to go ahead and, I have a motion for that item, review committee assignments and create working committees as needed. Okay, so after our last month meeting, it was brought up to my attention that our district accountant was quitting due to the inability to effectively work with our current president, Linda Fabre. During the meeting, I knew that this would happen, so I took the appropriate steps to remedy the situation. It is evident that our current president is unable to effectively work with our accountant. Our president insists, as expressed at our last month meeting, in a micromanaging model of our consultant that is bogging us down and affecting our business relationship with our consultant, affecting efficiency and productivity. It is my prerogative that as directors, we are here to ensure that we're providing proper governance oversight, yet creating an environment in which our consultants are able to thrive and effectively perform their duties for which they have been hired. We are here to govern, not to micromanage people. To ensure the stability of our district, I move that we remove Linda Fabre from the Billing and Invoices Committee and appoint Hanoi Avila and Beth Jones to said committee. Do I have a second?
Wait, so- okay, that's.
Okay.
Well, I'll start off.
Who seconded that?
Beth?
Beth.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
Um, I think Linda has been doing a great job of checking bills and invoices. I didn't think that there was such an issue when Ashley was doing the bills and invoices prior to February. I believe she had new employees come in, and I think that's when more problems arose. There were more mistakes. Linda has shown her dedication to this district and the oversight of the public's funds. And I am very happy with her performance, watching over people's money, and, you know, I'm okay with finding a new bookkeeper. You know, it's fine with me. It was discussed in the last meeting that going through another bookkeeper, you know, this is the first bookkeeper we've had. Infomark said they weren't going to do it anymore because of their internal issues or whatever they had, but it's not like we've turned over bookkeepers and bookkeepers. This would be the first one that wasn't performing, if it's not performing. So that's all I have to say.
Kelly?
I have mixed feelings on this. because Linda is very good at reviewing the bills and invoices, but with a tendency to get sidetracked by the minutia, sometimes with different degrees of accuracy. There were still issues with Artesian when Ashley was on. I think we have kind of rose-colored glasses about our interactions with Artesian when Ashley was there. Artesian is not a perfect contractor, but they are good, and they will get better as they learn our district. I know that if they leave, the district will be in a very bad position trying to find another accountant. And we also have some jeopardy attached with our auditor if our accountant quits, and if we were to hire a bookkeeper who is not versed in the public funds expenditures. There's nothing inherently evil about contractors who specialize in MUDs, because MUDs are specialized, because we spend public money. So that's my thoughts.
Beth?
Well, from what happened last month, I know that Lisa pretty much said everything that she needed to say. And I know that between Lisa and the auditor, they do not feel that they have a good working relationship with Linda. And I know that that is a big concern right now. And what I want to make sure is that, we have to have a good working relationship with our people. This happened with Michael. He had a lot of issues. And we need to keep that working relationship with our contractors to be able to continue not to lose the people that we have that work for us. And we are on the line of keeping these two people right now. And I know a lot of it has to do with how things go tonight. And our job is not to be their manager. Our job is to be able to, yes, help point things out, but we do not need to do dots where a dot is missing. We do not, there are certain things that need to be done, but for them to have to spend 8 hours a day with one person, that's not a good working relationship.
Are you done?
I am.
I'm concerned, Hanoi, that you took matters into your own hands. That's making a decision for the board. Don't appreciate that at all. Secondly, I don't need to be on the committee to be able to look at every bill and invoice every single month and do exactly what I do now. That's the job of all of us. That is not the job of one. And any argument that Artesian has been providing good bookkeeping service for us, I would wholeheartedly disagree. Every month they have errors, and if you have a degree of errors that you would like left alone, we'll make that statement to the public. What amount of money are you not willing to chase down? This month they were missing $100,000 of bills to pay. Every single month we have the same problems with the people. They don't answer the questions. I don't know how many of you have looked at the files to see the mistakes that are identified to them. At last month's meeting, Lisa accused me of making decisions on my own. That is emphatically not true. She provided no evidence, though she said that she had emails to demonstrate. I have received nothing from Lisa at all since the last meeting. So if she has that stuff, she's not sharing. She has also now interceded in CubeSmart and told them they cannot give anybody any information except her. And that is an email also filed in this folder. So any contractor who wants to run this district without the participation of this board is not a good contractor, not in my opinion. And oversight is our responsibility. Again, it doesn't matter who sits on the committee. It does not negate my ability to look at every single bill and invoice every single month exactly the way I do now. And I will continue to do that as long as I am on this board. That's not going to change. I don't need to talk to her about it, but I can certainly annotate the file.
I just want to make a correction. Lisa did not tell CubeSmart that. CubeSmart only allows one authorized user on the account. It's always been the bookkeeper, and they will only communicate with that person for changes to the account. It was the same one.
Nobody's asked CubeSmart to change anything
I'm-
about the
I'm
account.
just letting you know,
Can we move
Lisa
on?
did not direct them to do that. That is CubeSmart standard.
I just want you to read the email from the lady at CubeSmart. It says something different. So, everybody said their piece. We'll take the vote. Hanoi and Beth on the Bills and Invoice Committee. Motion passes. I vote no. David? Please make sure that those bills and invoices are put into the folder 5 days prior to a board meeting in the board packet so that I can review them.
Okay, I don't know how, I'm just gonna say it. Two things that I think that need to change is either we need to change our president or we need to change the amount of time that we talk to our accountants.
Are you making a motion, Beth?
Are you making a motion? Beth,
I will make that motion.
Is there an
I'm-
agenda?
Or
there
do you want
is,
to discuss it, or I guess we have to make a motion to discuss it.
well, you want to keep going on this agenda? We're at 9, almost 9:30.
Well, I do recommend that we try 8E if people are in agreement with that, because I do have another concern that the amount of time that the district managers or not managers, but a consultant are having to dedicate in answering emails is out of control without the approval of the board. So I think there has to be some guardrails in place.
Can you
limitation.
please be really specific, Hanoi, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Are
I
we
think the
on
last
8?
meeting.
We are on
Yeah,
8.
it's
8E.
8E. If somebody wants to move it up, I have a resolution.
We'll move it up. We're on 8E. I saw the resolution. It's in Cole's attorney folder. Did you write that resolution?
It was something that we had from, well, we used it as an example from
Well,
another
I called
district.
him and we discussed, and I
Yeah.
told him exactly what I envisioned, and so it was, I proposed it and he cleaned it up.
So he effectively did what the resolution says you don't do.
So I
You
didn't-
obligate a contractor's time to do work.
So I'm not billing for it because I wanted to, because it was requested. I just wanted to get something in the folder because I hadn't seen anything in the folder before the meeting about this item, so I said, I'm gonna put something in that's just a very rough example of
Okay.
what I thought. I'm not billing for it, I just said, and then it's up to the board to decide how do you all wanna add to it, remove, change anything.
And I
That's
want
all.
to echo that conversation. When I've talked to you clearly, I mentioned to you that I didn't want you to charge for this because
That's
this was a
accurate.
board decision, and
You
that was
actually-
accurate. And so I gave you the wording, and I've asked for your help, and you clearly said, I will do this without a charge.
Yeah, and also you said you didn't want me to do it without the board's full approval, but then when I said, all right, look, it's not here, how are we gonna talk about something without putting eyes on it? And so
It's kind of like you talk to your litigator for free.
Yeah.
Same difference. So I want to know what you're seeing, where you see a lot of consultant time being built. Where are you seeing that?
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, I want to
think
talk
we gotta
about it
move.
because that's what we're on this.
Well, I
AE.
don't have to talk about it with you. I'm just,
Oh, you will with the motion. Give me a motion.
yeah, I'll give you a motion. Are we ready? Have we voted to move on?
Yeah, we're on
agenda
8E.
item?
Well, are we finished with 6D?
60, yeah, that passed.
yeah, we're on
Yeah,
8E.
so you and I are on committee,
Okay,
invoice,
and
yeah.
then what are we gonna do about
We're on.
working
We're on.
relationships with,
8-2,
you know, as,
We're on 8E. Can we get done with 8E first, then you can go with your next one.
okay.
So I need your motion.
All right.
8E.
Okay, so motion number 2,
number 2, you said?
and my second motion, I'm not saying motion number
Sorry, I
2.
didn't
So that we approve a resolution that limits, restrains district's consultants' ability to communicate written or verbal or produce information of any kind to any individual director. I want to make that clear, that this motion is not only towards you, but to any director, individual director, outside of their base fee to 1 hour per month, and that beyond said hour, contractor must seek full board approval for prior answering any question or producing any material or information to any individual director. That is my motion, and that motion is well reflected on the recommended resolution that has been uploaded to the drive. So that goes for every director. We are limiting 1 hour per month of consultation
Per
for
month.
all directors, not only Linda Fabre, but all directors.
It's Bob.
Fob, sorry.
Is there a second?
Second that, I think that's fair. I understand what you're saying.
Discussion. Beth?
I think an hour, I mean, that's a lot of time per month to talk to our people. I mean, an hour, we shouldn't need more than an hour. So yes, that's fair. I don't see a problem with that.
David?
I see an issue with that because it's an hour can be one phone call, or that's 2 phone calls a month with the engineer. Being on the committee, if I have questions about something, I see something, that's going to come up and that's going to eat that hour away. Okay, now I can't call them till next month, or I have to get board approval.
But there's 2
Right.
people on your committee.
So,
Have you, excuse
And
me,
it's outside of base fees.
have you ever spent more than an hour on the phone with,
no, I don't. I do emails.
okay, just, so it hasn't been an issue for you?
No,
Okay.
but if you look at the board president, I think the board president would spend more than 1 hour a month discussing things with the contractors. That's just my opinion. So.
I don't even talk to the contractors, actually. Hanoi?
So, I mean,
This stems from something, so why don't you
well,
clarify?
it stems, I want to be very honest, I mean, it stems from the fact that you send emails to our contractors that are very lengthy and require a lot of questions. And my concern is that, you know, and we were involved in the same situation with the accountant, that we were charged extra. And I don't think that is a good fiscal practice. So if you're going to require more than an hour, bring it back to the board. And, you know, if the board approves, then you can ask the questions. But I think we ought to limit the amount of time outside of base fees that the contractors are going to charge the district prior giving any answer. I think that is that's the right thing to do.
Well, all right. Kelly?
So as written, would this apply to 1 hour per contractor? Like you could spend 1 hour with the accountant and 1 hour with Infomark and 1 hour with
No, 1 hour
engineering?
across the board.
1 hour across the
Yeah,
board.
across the board, outside of base fee. So if it's base fee, you know, you can communicate it as within the base fee. But if it's anything that's going to add to the cost of the district, outside of 1 hour, I mean, the consultant shouldn't be providing answers if they're going to charge extra.
And I noticed in the draft resolution that Cole has in his packet, the consultant decides what's in their base fee. And we'll use Artesian as an example because they think that once they've cut the check, their job is over. That's the extent of their bookkeeping service. When in fact, bookkeeping service as defined is everything it takes to get good checks to the board for signature. Now, the correction of your fees of office was a result of their own mistake, and that they charged for the time to correct that mistake, and you approved that. That is not a result of asking the right questions to the right people for the right reasons. That's a result of a bookkeeper who has an open policy to charge for everything that she's thinking is not in her base fee. So we have two problems with this contract.
I think the contract is clear.
The contract is really clear. All bookkeeping services are covered in the base fee. And when they made a mistake with your fees of office, that was their mistake. It is a bookkeeping mistake, and there should have been no additional charge for that. You voted to pay them to correct that mistake.
Well, the additional charge was to,
Reconcile their mistake.
because you had prescribed to them the way that you wanted them to correct it. I feel like if anyone had said, this was wrong, please correct it, without, mandating how I want it to be done, that it might not have incurred an extra charge. And I do think that contractors all the time decide what's in their base fee, and I mean, just like we do at work, if a client comes to us and says, I want you to do this, we say, that's not covered in our contract. I mean, they're familiar with their contract, they know what's in their base fee, and I think we're just trying to protect them from unreasonable, excessive requests or demands, and make sure that we're fiscally protecting the district, and that if it's something that's truly needed, then it can be brought to the board and the board can vote on it.
Then your resolution needs to, as you'll notice the changes that I've annotated on your resolution, it's not about communicating with contractors, it's about incurring expenses with contractors, and that would apply to anything. So that resolution, in order to satisfy what Hanoi is saying, he is trying to limit the expenditures created by asking contractors questions. Is that correct?
Let me pull up
Because communicating with contractors literally prevents us from doing our job. If it incurs an expense, I agree, that should be covered with a board decision. But 1 hour, Artesian charges $150 an hour. Cole charges almost $400 an hour. Jacob is $300 an hour. So what's your limit?
I said this was super rough.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
why
in y'all's hands to-
when I read it, and the purpose of it, it was not about communicating, it's about incurring expenses.
correct, and that's the goal of it. Here's the thing, at our last meeting, we spent well over $2,000 discussing a $200 charge from our accountant. I have a really hard time with that. And so we got to be wise as to how we treat our contractors and what we ask for before we incur any cost.
Am I correct, there's just one contract that we have an issue with on this?
David, this has been a long history of
I'm just
issues
asking
with
the question.
contractors. No, I don't think it's the only contractor. I think Infomarks knows really well what I'm talking about.
And we got rid of Infomart.
We terminated
Yeah.
Infomark.
But David, it'll happen again. You're not listening
Yeah.
to the issue.
No, no,
The
no.
problem is about communication.
Infomark is covered in their base fee. There's nothing that they do that they charge extra for, so that ship doesn't sail here.
We haven't, but there is absolutely opportunity to. Because a lot of what you've requested does not get performed by base people. It has to be performed by internal departments.
Well, your contract says you provide reports in your base fee, so that's just how it's written. Bad contract maybe? I don't know. My point is this. If you can't talk to the contractors, we got the wrong contractors. That's pretty simple to me. So I'm going to make a motion.
That's your practice. I don't think it's necessarily.
And I don't know
the
where you get
collective
the, I don't know where
view
you
of all
get
of us.
the $2,000 fee for the last month's meeting.
Do the math, 5-hour meeting.
Yeah.
All right, so
Time-
let's move on
But
to
that wasn't all on-
approving the
That wasn't-
resolution.
You said $200, it cost that $200.
Can we move on to approve the
David, it's not your
resolution?
turn.
This is my agenda item.
Yes.
So I want to
We
go
have your
ahead.
motion, we
Yes.
have your motion, and Beth seconded, and everybody's commented, And the resolution to communicate outside of the base fee per month. So that's,
It's very clear, whereas if directors make a request for information that will require consultants to spend more than 1 hour of time, consultant will defer completing task until items is placed in the next month's agenda. So if the contractor, after 1 hour, they can't do it.
and the
They would have to come
contractor
back to us.
decides what's in their base fee. We're giving all the power to the contractors? This is-
No, I'm not giving all the power to the
Yeah, you are.
contractor.
This is a bad motion. This is a bad plan, but you've got a second, so we'll go ahead and take a vote.
Okay.
All in favor of Hanoi's
I
motion?
just want to make clear that this is not giving all the power to the contractors. This
They-
is setting guardrails in place because you are spending way too much money asking our contractors questions outside the scope of their work.
In your opinion.
In your opinion. In your
Of course,
opinion.
it's my opinion.
Okay,
I'm not saying otherwise. It is my clear opinion, right?
Yes.
Okay, good enough. So I have a second. Can you call the vote?
all in favor?
Madam President, the
All opposed?
passes.
Yes, it did
Motion
pass.
passes. Thank you.
Do you mind if I take the no votes?
Go ahead.
No votes. Thank you.
So I'm going to clean it up by adding 1 hour into it, and then if there are other suggested changes on there, can we make sure we have a clean version that you all voted on? I mean, at least the 1 hour, because that's what you mentioned, and that's, I mean,
I feel comfortable.
Are you going to change it to incurring expenses and not communication?
What was the motion was
The motion was
as is with the 1 hour addition.
Right, correct. Ask
So
for
I'm not going to make any changes except for the 1 hour unless you all bring it up again and want to
I agree.
clarify it, which that's for you all to decide.
Is y'all in agreement with that? As written? Okay. So it is as written.
And we're going to have to do one more thing. I know it's late, but it is really important because we're out of time. And that is agenda item 7D. We need a transition plan for the new operator. So my suggestion is that all committees work on that transition from your committees on how you think it's going to look when Infomark is gone, and you can put together a plan, and we'll see if it works. So the motion is all committees put together a transition plan for MOC by next meeting. It's time to start working on that because MOC would need to start on September 1st. The additional employees would need to start around that time, end of August, around that time, and there's a lot of work to do to get that going, so there you go. Can I get a second?
second.
Any discussion? None? Vote? All in favor? No plan? Motion fails. All right. Anything else that we need to cover that's critical? It's 9:41.
7B.
What'd you say?
7B as in boy.
RFQ for financial advisor?
Oh,
You all
yes.
have that proposal
Yes.
from last month.
I will make a motion to accept the proposal from the financial advisor for $5,000 a year to include tax rate and planning future expenses. It's a budgeting kind of function.
Yeah,
And the reserve, and a reserve.
Yeah, so your financial, just a high-level summary, the financial advisor, he will be available he's going to assist you all with your tax rate, so he'll work with the counties on recommending a tax rate for the district to adopt. And then if the district ever was in a position to issue debt obligations, he would be the person who would do those instruments, the offering documents, and work on selling that. But also, he's the person who, when you all have, what Jacob's putting together right now, the capital improvement plan, and you're going to have long-term forecasting of all the work that needs to be done in the district. I promise you, you're going to look and see that there are going to be some years where you probably might be having to spend $1 million+ depending on the work and depending on the age of the facilities. So that's where, your financial advisor will be able to come in and look at the operating, look at how much you all have budgeted for, purposes X, Y, and Z, and be able to help you all guide through that process in terms of making sure you have the financials available.
Did I get a second?
I second.
Sorry. Any
I still
discussion?
would like to go back to 60.
Can we finish this one? Any discussion on hiring the financial advisor? No discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Which one do you want to go back to, Beth?
6D, because we didn't finish that one. On the review committee assignments and create working committees as needed. I'm just going to say that I've heard a rumor from a neighbor that someone on this committee met with a friend of someone that did not have both committees with them.
Someone met with someone.
A rumor
No, it's-
that somebody met with somebody?
I'll just be honest, I heard that you met with someone regarding accounting stuff.
Well, actually,
And if that's true,
you could have only heard that from Kelly.
no, I didn't hear it from Kelly. I heard it from a resident that you met with another resident.
You could have only heard that from Kelly because she's the only one that knew. And no,
No,
I
I'm
didn't.
going to ask Kelly
No,
right now if she was there.
I did not meet with her about accounting stuff. I met with her. It is true. You could ask her. I met with her about the overall business of the MUD. That's a fact. It was a
But you
3-hour
can't
meeting.
do that.
Of course I can.
No, you can't.
Of
Not without
course
your-
I can. It wasn't a committee thing. We discussed,
We're allowed
The-
to talk to our constituents.
we can talk to our constituents without board approval. And she asked to understand how the MUD works. The whole thing was
How did you even
about
know
that.
who I was talking about?
Because she,
Who else would you be talking about then? Seriously.
No, really.
Seriously. I'm serious.
Seriously, I haven't
You
even
say it,
said
say
hardly
it, say it.
anything today.
say who it was, Beth.
But you obviously know a whole lot more.
What is your,
Can we
okay,
move
wait,
on?
we
So
have to do
what
that.
I
Is this
wanted to
okay?
do next is say,
this
Kelly,
okay?
have you been with her?
Well, she's the
when-
president. She has full control of
But when I speak, then you shut me
presiding,
down,
so-
right? But when I
Point of
speak,
order
I'm not
to
the
both of
president.
you.
I'm not the
Point of
president.
order
She's in
to
control
both of you.
of the group. So.
Point of order to both of you.
So,
Do
listen,
you
I'm
have-
not done talking.
do you
And that
have
was
something?
this is my thing right here.
Okay, what-
6D.
What would you like to?
So what I would like to say is, I don't feel that you are fulfilling your job as president.
Well, okay.
And I would like to put Hanoi back in there.
Make a motion.
I will make a motion that I do not feel.
No, the motion,
The
what
motion
you want to
is
do.
that we offer up the president role to another board member.
That's,
So remove.
To remove our president. And have another board member take that place until November. We need somebody that has good communication and that is following and working together as a team.
I'll second that motion.
any further discussion?
Just for clarity, I did not talk to Beth. I never talked to Beth. But you did email me Saturday morning telling me you were meeting with someone regarding financial reviews.
Mhm.
You said you were meeting at a location, but you didn't give me the time. And of course, by the time I read the email, it was too late for me to go anyway. And I felt like that was pretty disrespectful. If it didn't have to do with bills and invoices, then you wouldn't have emailed me, I feel like.
Well, the financial information is on the MUD's website. It's the financial reports. That's what she wanted to understand.
Okay,
And I invited you because
You didn't
We're
invite
on-
her, she just said you didn't.
I did. I invited her by an email, but if I didn't give you the time, I apologize for that.
And at,
I told you-
Saturday morning at 6 a.m., I'm not reading emails and I was not in a position
Well,
to attend a meeting.
I
that
thought it was
morning.
a kind gesture because we do look at the bills and invoices together, so we have a really good understanding of the financial report. That's what we looked at. That's what we talked about. It's published it's public information. It's on the website. So I can do that all day long. And as a matter of fact, I'm thinking about holding a class on it because I think it's that important that the district or the members who are interested understand. And it's public information. They should understand where their money goes. They should see how it's reported. So I can do that all day long. I don't need permission for that. That's how that works.
But you should do that with your team.
So you made a motion? Can you repeat your motion?
Hanoi's gave it a
Let
second.
me give it a second already.
Can you, somebody repeat the
motion?
motion?
Jones makes motion to remove Bob from president. I'm shorthanding, so apologies. Remove Bob from president and appoint another board member. Seconded by Avila.
All right. Anybody else have anything to say? Let's take the vote. All in favor of Beth's motion? It passes. Now you'll need to do a motion on who's your president.
I'd like to make a motion to put Hanoi back in it. I don't know why he was removed in the first place.
Anybody want to second that motion?
Do you want to be president?
Do you want to be president?
No. I mean,
I motion, I move
You
that.
can't motion while there's one on the table.
I'll second it if you will, but making sure you want that.
Okay, we'll do it.
I second it.
Okay.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes. Is there anything more to cover tonight?
Yes, unfortunately, but it's kind of more, I should say more important, it is important. And I'll be very brief. So under the attorney's report, you'll see, it's the last page, truth in taxation for the 2024 tax year. The surveys are kind of being sent out right now from Travis County and Williamson County. If you recall from all the years past, it's these truth in taxation forms that we have to fill out. I'm assuming, as you all did last year, that you want to adopt the tax rate at the September board meeting. You have until September 30th to do it, but if you recall, you have to have a hearing before that. So last year, you all called a special meeting. So I'm under the impression you all will probably elect to call a special meeting again in the beginning of September to have your tax rate hearing and then adopt at the regular board meeting. I'm going to fill out the forms on behalf of the district and submit them in to Travis and Williamson, and you all just engage a financial advisor, so we're going to rope him in as well. If there's any questions about that or the process, email me. I'm happy to answer them, and the forms you'll see are online, but they should probably be on the district's website as well as the historical truth and taxation form. Timeline for the November director's election. You've probably all seen the notice of deadline to file application for place on the ballot. It's on the district's website. It's posted here in the district as well. Essentially, residents can file a ballot with our office starting Saturday, July 20th until 5 p.m. on Monday, August 19th. The only comment I want to make about that is the ballots are on the Secretary of State's website. So some law firms just direct people, go to the Secretary of State's website and fill it out. Other law firms will provide the ballots to the people when they reach out. Of course, that solicits questions and conversations, which is billing. So I'd like to ask you all what kind of policy, if you want to adopt a policy where it's not a lot of time, I'll say that, it's mainly Gabby just sending an email, but do you all want us to, if there are interested parties who reach out to serve on the board, or for this election, if any, do you want us to point them in the direction of the Secretary of State, or you just want us to say, here are the applications, here you go, fill it in and bring it, give it to us by the deadline?
It's always been done by the attorney.
Okay, so, all right, so y'all are good with that. Okay, so we can do that. Annexation of Anderson Mill Road, that's still on pause. I've talked with Lauren Marfin, who's the attorney for Cedar Park, mentioned the board's concerns from the last meeting. She says she does not think the landscaping or any of those items will be an issue. She's confirming with the city's infrastructure team and then also with the budgetary committee just to make sure. Mackenzie sent me over kind of the schedule that was done in the district. She said it wouldn't be an issue as long as the district wasn't going out and mowing every third day type of thing. I said, no, I sent her the schedule. I think it's once every 2 weeks and once every 3 weeks and once every 2 weeks during certain months. So she's going to get that to us and get us a revised licensing agreement to reflect those items. Have not received a copy of the Badger meter agreement. That's all I have.
I adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Copy of the